I have been the most staunch defender of Aaron Rodgers, I think, on network radio. And I'm also fair and honest in that I thought what he did when he never took the COVID vaccine and he blatantly lied about it, I crushed him for it. It wasn't because of his stance, it was because he was completely disingenuous about it. And then when he got called, then he made it about the media, not about himself, when all he had to say was like, yeah, I lied, my bad, let's move on. But if we pointed out the things about Aaron Rodgers positively and negatively that have been said for years, I could make the case, and I will here, that last night was a perfect example of how so many things that are said about Aaron Rodgers are incredibly accurate. Incredibly accurate. He is, I think, the most talented guy who's ever done it and won at a high level. He is still very athletic for a 40-year-old quarterback. And yeah, I'm okay with, and I don't know if you guys are, I'm okay with couching it with he's 40. Like, I don't expect him to be Lamar Jackson, nor was he ever Lamar Jackson, but in and out of the pocket, to have that level of accuracy, he's amazing. To have that kind of arm strength, to have that ability to read a defense, to have that sort of leadership, sort of swag where you have to have confidence, sometimes borderline arrogance, he has it. Okay, but all of the theatrics that we wanted to say were at the end of his run in Green Bay, and maybe it was about this, and maybe it was about that, and maybe it was about he didn't want to beat there. They've all been on display, and they were all on display last night. The bad body language, the calling out teammates. Heck, his offensive tackle, when they had that sort of miracle touchdown to take the lead, was it 31-30 late in the game? When they had that, one of his linemen, and he celebrated, he's doing a little Aaron Rodgers hop, kind of tackled him, tried to give him a bear hug. Then he wakes up, then he jumps up, and he was almost like, why am I forgetting? What's the sideline guy for Fox that does, he does the sideline for Fox Baseball, and
Ken Rosenthal?
Like the Ken Rosenthal stare down. That's what he did to his linemen. So the talent it's not what it used to be, but still there. The accuracy still there. The snapping of passes, the laser and finding guys and throwing it to windows and still moving it out of the pocket. It's a 40-year-old version. It's not what it used to be, but it's still, you can see that guy is an unbelievable quarterback. But he's still a blamer. His finger still points out, never in. He doesn't seem to be enjoying himself or just kind of at peace and at ease, which is okay. Like, I understand that. Like, I'm a crazy competitor too. But I'm telling you what everyone says about him is, yeah, he's really talented, but he's really like a pear that's a desert cactus animal, only no Lee, right? He can be that P word. He just is. And I look, I get it. Like, guys let you down. Guys run the wrong routes. Guys will quit on routes. You're frustrated. But none of the other star quarterbacks seem to have the type of persona that he has, and that's always distinguished him. Last night he led them on a game-leading touchdown drive. That should not be undersold. Right? He did not get the ball back. He did not have time to go down. I mean, I think they had 7 seconds left in the last kickoff. That's not enough time. He did throw a Hail Mary that was 65 yards in the air. He's still the best at throwing the Hail Mary. He still has complete command and control of the huddle. He still has enough of it for them to win big. But I walked away from that game with a lot of thoughts. But I think the number one thought is the good and the bad, the spectacular and the disappointing, the leadership, but also the rough around the edges. That's just hard to love when a teammate lets you down. I walked away last night saying everything we've ever said, that's ever been said about Aaron Rodgers, is true. Probably the most talented guy to ever play the position. Right? When you factor in intelligence, accuracy, arm strength, athleticism, success, Like, he's just crazy, crazy talented. But it's not all perfect, and when things don't go his way, he can really, really make people feel small, and that's not always your job when you're a quarterback. Beyer, you've been the opposite, right? You've never been an Aaron Rodgers guy. You've never been a Packers guy. On the other hand, I think
all of that is actually incorrect. It's two of the extreme. So
okay,
it's not that I'm not a Packers fan, but I can't say I'm anti-Packers, and I wasn't always anti-Aaron Rodgers. I just thought that he gets a lot of the benefit of doubt as of late. But I think I can appreciate his greatness.
Oh, he is he is phenomenal. But am I being unfair with my critique of him? And again, I understand that this is watching from TV. This is watching from 30,000 feet. But that's how everybody else ingests their Aaron Rodgers, right? We don't get to go to the meetings. We aren't in the sideline conversations. So there's a way in which you have to give teammates feedback, and he just has that way where it's hard. And I'm sure Flacco probably lets guys have it. Flacco's probably had times in which he's not the nicest, warmest, gentlest guy to be around. But for whatever reason, there's something about Rodgers that just makes you think, God, that guy got to be miserable when you make a mistake. And when he makes a mistake, it just doesn't feel like, hey, or he takes the blame for other people. That's just not who he appears to be. And again, I'm not telling you it's all bad, right? If you wrote down a list of what it takes to be a great quarterback in this or the previous era, he checks every box. But God, the body language, God, some of the way in which when he doesn't like something, how it comes off, when he doesn't like a play, or when he just has this way about him to where you're like, well, that's got to be tough to be around.
The throwing of the tablet in Carolina, I think, is years back when he was a member of the Packers. It's funny because I think that this happens to quarterbacks over time. I don't remember Dan Marino younger in his career and growing up and being that guy, but boy, at the end of his career, it seemed like he was yelling at everybody. And it was a fiery Dan Marino, but maybe you get that way because you've been around the game so long. I give him the benefit of the doubt, but I don't think Rodgers should have been tackled. I actually thought it was a dumb play by his lineman. I understand.
No question. But it was a crazy play, right? Like it's a crossing route, and then the Bengals look like the Bengals, right? They like tackle each other, and all of a sudden, because anybody who'd be critical of it did feel like they let them score. That's how comical the defense was there from the Bengals. You're like, wait, there's like 2.5 minutes to go there. Are they letting them score? This is so weird. It was the Keystone Cops or the Benny Hill theme music, right? Or whatever the modern day version of those are. That's what it was. And he's jumping up in the air and he's doing the Aaron Rodgers hop, which is, I mean, listen, it's a signature move. And, you got a big 300 whatever pound lineman. The dude just kind of bear hugs him and tackles him. And then I'm sure he's like, my bad. But he still stared right through him. And it wasn't the only time. There were other times in the game where he's looking at people, you're like, dude. And they're depleted. They don't have all the wide receivers that they need to have or whatever. But you're going against the Bengals they're crushed by injuries too. All the Aaron Rodgers stuff was on display last night. A weird interception where he threw it into triple coverage. What was that?
He's done that before. Did it in a playoff game against the 49ers. Yeah. That throw is not foreign to Rodgers.
No, that's what I'm saying. I'm saying everything, the full Aaron Rodgers experience. You even had the Hail Mary. Granted, it wasn't completed or whatever, but the full Aaron Rodgers experience was on display last night.